Okay. So hello guys. So for this video discussion, let's talk about audit naman tayo. Audit of inventories. So balikan na natin yung medyo konting concepts lang natin regarding audit of inventories under financial accounting and reporting. Okay? Take note si audit natin, okay, si audit subject natin, specifically for audit problems, it does not only talk about solving problems, yung pagtataktak lang ng calculator, okay? Sa audit of inventories, meron tayong tinatawag na magsosolve ka ng problems, yung parang nag-audit ka mismo, yun yung mga long problems natin. Then meron tayong tinatawag na substantive procedures for inventories. Part yun ng audit problems. Pero hindi natin i-discuss yun for this video discussion, kasi nga, medyo boring yun. Hindi mo patatapusin yung video. Aantukin ka sa substantive testings kasi morely, puro theories tayo doon. So, mag-focus muna tayo sa computations. Then, face-to-face tayo for the substantive procedures. So, audit of inventories. Okay? Concept lang natin sa financial accounting and reporting. Mga basic concepts lang. Hindi natin i-dig into deeper. Kasi yung medyo malalim na concepts is nasa financial accounting and reporting na subject natin yon. So, this is just a quick recap lang about inventories. So, what is inventories? Siyempre, those are assets that are held for sale in the ordinary course of business. Tandaan mo yung definition na yan. Kasi hindi lahat, kasi merong entity na si ballpen is part ng inventory. Merong ibang entity na si ballpen is part ng supplies. Ano yung definition ulit natin? Those assets, okay? Asset yan that are held for sale in the ordinary course of business. Yan daw yung normally binibenta mo. Let's say for example, meron tayong building. Tama. Si building, ang alam mo dyan, pag narinig mo si building, property, plant, and equipment yan, PPE yan. Ang standard na ginagamit ko dyan, PAS 16. Tama. Hindi lahat. Okay, merong instances na si building classified as inventories. Ang standard na gagamitin mo is PAS 2. Paano yan? Kapag yung building daw na yan is held for sale in the ordinary course of business. Anong example natin doon? Let's say for example, real estate business. Si real estate business, merong building. Yung building, anong ginagawa niya? Binibenta niya yon. Ordinary course of business, classified siya as inventories kahit na feeling mo, PPE tayo dyan. Okay? Depende sa entity. Hindi sinasabi na pag narinig mo si building, PPE yan. Hindi sinasabi na pag narinig mo si ballpen, inventories yan. Depende sa kung ano yung business ni entity. So, tandaan mo yung definition. Those assets that are held for sale in the ordinary course of business. Tandaan mo held for sale. Dapat in the ordinary course of business. Kasi merong instances, yung business mo is magbenta ng ballpen. Yung pagbenta mo ng ballpen, merong building. Anong ginagamit mo daw sa building? For administrative purposes. So, part siya ng PPE. Kaso, by December 31, 2026, gusto mo na daw siyang ibenta. Held for sale na raw siya. Okay, classified na ba siya as inventories? Hindi pa rin, sir. Hindi pa rin yan, bes. Bakit? Kasi nga, dapat under the ordinary course of business. Ano ba yung binibenta mo? Ballpen. Bigla na lang, nagkataon lang na binenta mo si building. Anong tawag dyan? Incidental lang. Okay? Incidental mo lang siya binenta, hindi siya under ordinary course of business, hindi siya PAS 2. Sir, anong gagamitin kong standard? PAS 16 pa rin ba? Hindi na. Anong gagamitin mong standard dyan? PFRS 5. Non-current assets held for sale or distribution. Tandaan mo yung definition natin. Napaka-importante, napaka-crucial ng definition ng inventories. Uulitin ko, hindi lahat ng pencil sa tingin mo is inventory, hindi lahat yan inventory. Hindi lahat ng, let's say for example, meron ka dyang pabango. Yung pabango mo, binibenta mo, hindi lahat ng pabango sa lahat ng entity is inventory. Dapat magiging inventory lang siya if it is an asset that is held for sale. And dapat, hindi lang basta held for sale. Dapat ordinary course of business. Ang example nga ulit natin dyan, si building. Si building, kapag real estate ka, classified siya as inventory. Nakuha. Yun lang naman, yung mahirap. Yun lang naman yung kailangan mo tandaan sa inventories eh. Si inventories natin, pwedeng tatlo. Meron kang inventories that are classified as raw materials inventory, work in process inventories, and finished goods inventories. Lahat yan part ng inventories natin. So ito, nasa topic na yan ng cost accounting, so hindi na natin yan palalalimin. Dapat, alam mo na yan, na meron tayong raw materials, work in process, and finished goods inventory. Okay, for manufacturing businesses lang naman yan. For merchandising business, huwag ka mag-alala, puro finished goods, inventories lang yun. Okay tayo? So ito na ngayon yung kailangan mong tandaan for audit problem. Inventory ownership tayo. Paano mo malalaman kung yung inventory ba is sa'yo? Paano mo malalaman kung yung inventory ba is hindi na sa'yo? Siyempre sir, pag nagbenta ako, pag nagbenta ka nga, hindi na sa'yo yung inventory. Pag bumili ako sir, pag bumili ka nga, sa'yo na yung inventory. Pero tama, meron tayong mga terms doon na medyo malalalim ng konti. Unahin natin, inventories in transit. Kapag inventories in transit, yung pinaka familiar ka dyan is yung FOB shipping point. Tapos yung FOB destination, tama? Kapag FOB shipping point tayo, ano yung tatandaan mo dito? Yung kapag point of view ni seller, si seller bumili. Okay? Point of view pala. Point of view mo, ikaw yung nagbenta. Yung kapag nagbenta ka daw, the moment na i-ship mo yung goods, okay? The moment of shipment, the goods will be owned by the buyer. Okay? Kapag na-ship na yung goods, owned na siya ni buyer. Kabaliktaran naman ng FOB destination. Sa FOB destination, the moment na i-ship mo yung goods, kay seller pa yan. Kailan daw siya magiging part ng kay buyer? Once received. Tama? Once the goods are received, FOB destination, kay buyer na yung goods. Dito, kay buyer na yung goods once shipped. Okay? Once shipped. Okay, kay buyer na. Next, ito, X-ship. Familiar ka ba dyan? Hindi ka dyan familiar, no? Ito kasi yan. Pag X-ship tayo, sabi dyan, once shipped, okay, at the moment of shipment, kasi X-ship tayo, kanino yung goods natin? Kay seller pa rin. Okay? Kay seller yung goods once shipped. Kailan siya magiging part owner ni buyer? Kapag na-receive na rin. From the word itself, X-ship. Yun na X past. After na yan. After shipment, mapupunta lang kay buyer. Kaya once shipped, kay seller pa tayo. Tandaan mo yung ownership ng inventory, kapag narinig mo yung term FOB shipping point, anong question mo? Itanong mo, kailan na-ship? Na-ship ng December 31, 2025. Kanino na yung ownership pag December 31, 2025? Kay buyer na. Paano pag FOB destination? Kailan na-ship? Tanong mo, kailan na-ship? December 31. Hindi yun yung dapat tanong ko Kailan ba na-receive? Na-receive ng January 31, 2026. Kay inventory na yung, kay buyer na yung inventory ng January 31, 2026. Pero by December 31, 2025, kay seller pa yun. Pag X-ship, tanongin mo, kailan na-receive? Pag the moment na na-receive, kay buyer na. Nakuha, parang FOB destination lang din si X-ship. Paano pag free alongside? Okay? Pag free alongside, tatandaan mo, kay seller lang ulit yan. Okay? The moment kapag na-ship na, okay? Kapag na-ship, kay seller pa rin. Kailan mapupunta kay buyer yung ownership? Kapag na-receive na ni buyer. Bakit ganun, sir? Tingnan mo na lang yung term mo, free alongside. Ibig sabihin, habang siniship pa daw siya, libre pa yan buyer. Okay, sino may sagot pa daw habang siniship? Kay seller pa. Free alongside. Kung free pa ni seller yung shipment hanggang mapunta sa kabilang dako, anong ibig sabihin doon? Sino yung may ownership? Si seller pa. Diba? Medyo complicated lang yung term. Kasi bago sa'yo, pero actually, self-explanatory yan kung iisipin mo siya mabuti. Ngayon, ito, meron tayong tinatawag na CIP. Okay, sa CIP. Kapag CIP tayo, ito yung term niyan, Cost, Insurance, and Freight. Kapag CIP tayo, tandaan mo na lang, yung goods natin dyan is na kay buyer na. Okay? Kay buyer na tayo dyan. Next, ito, inventories under consignment. Madali na sa'yo yan, no? Alam mo na yan. Ang mahirap lang dito, yung term. Baka malito ka kasi isang word lang yan, no? Maiiba na yung ownership natin. Meron tayong goods that are held on consignment and goods that are out on consignment. So, depende na naman yan sa point of view natin. Sino ka ba? Ako yung seller, sir. Ako yung consignor, sir. O, kapag goods held on consignment, anong ibig sabihin nun? Meron kang hawak na inventory na yung inventory na yun under consignment. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ikaw yung may hawak ng inventory, it is not part of inventory. Paano pag goods out on consignment? Anong kwento dyan? Meron kang inventory. Tapos, pinabebenta mo sa ibang tao under consignment agreement. Hindi pa daw nabenta. Goods out on consignment, it is part of your inventory. Okay, depende sa point of view. Tignan mo, isa lang yung word, maiiba na yung treatment natin. So, be careful, lalo na pag-audit of problems. Number 3 tayo, inventory ownership. Pag narinig mo yung term, those inventories in the hands of sales agency. Okay? Pag in the hands of sales agency, ang kwento lang dito, meron kang inventory. Okay? Ikaw muna nagbebenta. Meron kang inventory, pinabenta mo lang din ulit. Hindi under consignment, but under sales agency. Actually, same consignment, pero sales agency ang tawag. Ano mangyayari dito? Kung ikaw yung nagbebenta, part of your inventory. Ikaw pa rin yung may ownership. Kuha mo yon. Tandaan mo na lang yung term, ha? Inventories in the hands of a sales agency, parang consignment lang yan. Inventories that are out on consignment. Number 4, goods that are held by customer for approval or trial. Ito, kapag kayong goods daw is under approval or trial by the customer, tatandaan mo, yung goods natin is kay seller pa. So, anong kwento na itong number 4 na to? Nagkaroon na ng bentahan. Okay, nagkaroon na ng transactions. Sabi daw, nagkausap kayo, customer, okay? Customer, bebentahan kita na itong inventory ko na to worth 100,000. O sabi ng customer, sige, pag-isipan ko muna. Ano na yon? For approval or trial. Anong ginawa ni seller? Tinabi na daw yung inventories. Nilagay na for another storage na hindi na kasama sa pagbilang ng inventory count natin. O sabi daw, abay, bakit di mo sinama? Ano ba yan? Bakit mo tinabi yan? Ano na yan, sir? Naka-reserve na yan kay customer B ko. Kasi sabi niya, pag-iisipan daw niya. O for approval or trial, kanino yung ownership? Kay seller pa rin. Kuha. Yun ha. Goods held by customer for approval pa lang. Or for trial ni customer, kay seller pa yung point of view. Ano ibig sabihin ng for trial, sir? Tama, kung maalala mo, kung mapapansin mo, minsan, kapag trusted ka na nung supplier mo, meron kang bagong product. Sabi, let's say for example, cellphone, kung maalala mo sa mga, kung mapapansin mo sa mga vloggers, tama, merong binibigay na phones. Merong instances, let's say, ang agreement nila, sige, gamitin mo muna for your trial. Tapos, kapag in-approve mo, kapag kinuha mo, nagustuhan mo, tsaka mo lang bayaran sa akin. Customer that goods held for trial. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Ginagamit mo pa lang. Kapag gusto mong ibalik, kapag ayaw mong bilhin, ginamit mo na, hindi mo nagustuhan, ayaw mong bilhin, balik mo kay seller, walang problema. So, sino pa yung may ownership? Si seller pa. Unless approved na. Once approved na, kay buyer na. Okay? Pero kapag for approval or for trial pa lang, kay seller pa yung ownership. Nakuha? Number 5. Meron tayo dito, bill and hold sales. Pag bill and hold sales, tatandaan mo, kay buyer na yung ownership natin. Ano ibig sabihin naman ng bill and hold sales? Sa number 4, goods held by customer for approval. Ano meron doon? Tinabi mo na yung goods. Aantayin mo na lang yung approval ni customer kung bibilhin niya o hindi. Eto kay number 5, naresibuhan ka na, nabili mo na. Tinabi na ni supplier para sa'yo, anong inaantay na lang? Yung go signal mo para i-ship na. Build na, pero hinawakan mo pa lang, hold bill, and hold sales. Kanina yung ownership, kay buyer na. Anong kwento ulit yan? Nabayaran na. Or naresibuhan na. May invoice na. Ano nangyari? Tinabi mo. Hawak mo pa si supplier, hawak pa niya si seller, hawak pa niya yung inventories. Anong inaantay? Yung go signal ni buyer na i-ship na yung goods. Bill and hold. Kung mapapansin mo, meron sa mga kotse, tama, meron yung reservation. Ito ngayon yan. Reserved na siya. Kay buyer na yung ownership. Nakuha. Number 6, segregated goods. Same concept sa bill and hold sales. Yung ownership natin dito is kay buyer na rin. Number 7, installment sale. O installment sales naman, ano ang nangyari sa installment sales? Binigay na yung goods, pero hindi pa fully paid. Kanino na to? Aba, kay buyer na yan. Diba? Familiar ka na dyan eh. O number 8, ito, goods that are sold with buyback agreement. O ano yan? Naibenta na, nabayaran na, na-deliver na yung goods. Pero sabi daw, si supplier, pwede daw niyang bawiin yung product kapag na-breach mo yung contract with buyback agreement. Kanino yung inventories? Yung ownership kay seller pa rin. Okay, with buyback agreement. Number 9, goods sold with refund offers. O kapag ka merong goods sold naman, kabaliktaran naman ito ng number 8. Yung number 9, naibenta mo na yung goods. Ngayon, merong right si buyer na i-refund yung offer. Okay? Merong right si buyer. Si buyer ang may right ha. Kay number 8, si seller yung may right na bawiin yung product. Kay number 9, si buyer yung may right na ibalik yung product. Kanina yung ownership dito? Kay buyer na. Okay? Kay buyer na yan ha. Pag si buyer na yung may right na ibalik yung product, kay buyer na yung ownership. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng bawiin ni seller kung gusto niya. Aantayin niya na ibalik ni buyer. Okay? Kay number 8 naman, pwedeng bawiin ni seller yung product kung kailan niya gusto with buyback agreement. Number 9, hold for shipping instructions. Same lang yan dun sa tinuro ko sa number 5. Dito, yung ownership natin dito is kay seller tayo pero. Okay? Kay seller tayo dito kapag hold for shipping instructions. Parang ang ibig sabihin lang nito, FOB destination pa siya. Okay? Yan yung mga complicated terms. Tandaan mo na lang. Okay, yan na. Pause lang tayo. Pwede man picturean. Okay. Next concept tayo. Meron tayong tinatawag na inventory cost flow methods. Sa inventory cost flow methods, tatlo yan. Meron tayo netong specific identification, FIFO method, and average method. Sa specific identification method, ayan yung kaya mong specify kung ano yung product natin. Usually, ginagamit yan for high value inventories and low quantity inventories. So, low quantity and high value inventories. Okay? Kapag FIFO method naman, ano ibig sabihin ng FIFO method natin? First in, first out method. And sa first in, first out method, pwede yan, it's either periodic and perpetual, pero same lang yung treatment. Sa average method naman, dito pwedeng periodic or perpetual, pero magkaiba ng treatment. Pag nakita mo na yung inventory system, yung periodic and perpetual na yan, inventory system yan ha. Okay, dapat familiar ka na din sa inventory system. Anong difference ba ng inventory system? Kapag periodic inventories tayo, yung inventory system mo, kailangan mong mag-perform ng inventory count kasi hindi ka nag-recognize ng cost of goods sold dito. Yung journal entry yung pagkakaiba niyan, tama? Sa perpetual inventory dito kasi nag-recognize ka ng cost of goods sold. So alam mo yung cost of goods sold mo, alam mo yung ending inventory mo, pero kailangan mo pa rin mag-inventory count for control purposes. Okay, ngayon pag nakita mo na yung inventory system is periodic, hindi sinabi kung anong average method, kung weighted average or moving average. Anong question mo? Tingnan natin. Aba, kung periodic yung inventory system, move weighted average tayo. And yung formula ng weighted average mo is ito yan. Cost of goods sold available for sale, yung total cost of goods sold available for sale, in peso amount yan. Divided by the units of goods available for sale, yung total units yan. Okay, makakompute mo yung cost per unit. Tapos kung ilan yung inventory na nabilang mo, times yung cost per unit na na-solve mo dito, yun yung ending inventory mo under weighted average. Pag moving average naman, cost per unit moves for every purchases of inventory. Okay, yun may difference yan. Pero hindi na natin yan palalalimin kasi dito sa audit of inventories, hindi naman yan masyadong importante sa atin. Sa financial accounting and reporting, importante yan. Doon ka na lang sa discussion natin mag-refer. Okay, meron naman tayong separate discussion dyan. Next, measurement principles. Ito, kailangan to. Inventories are initially measured at cost. Tatandaan mo yan. And cost includes, number 1, purchase price. Yung purchase price natin dapat net of trade discounts yan. Okay, meron tayong trade of discount, yung purchase price mo naka-net yan. So, yung cost natin net of trade discount na nung purchase price. And yung purchase price natin dapat included dyan lahat ng import duties, lahat ng non-refundable taxes. Tandaan mo, non-refundable taxes and non-recoverable taxes. Okay, and yung mga purchase taxes. Purchase price yan. Kasama lahat yan sa purchase price. And Sa cost natin, included din ang conversion cost. Kapag manufacturing tayo. And ano yung included sa conversion cost? Yan yung overhead and yung direct labor. Tama. Nasa cost accounting natin to. Meron tayong prime cost and conversion cost. Yung prime cost natin, ano yung composition? Direct materials and direct labor. Kapag conversion cost, ano yung composition? Overhead, tapos direct labor. Okay? Part ng inventory yan. Number 3, other costs that are necessary in bringing the inventories to their present location and condition. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Yun yung DOC natin. Directly attributable cost. Meron kang na-receive na transport, meron kang cost na na-incur, transport cost. Tanongin mo, necessary ba yan para magamit ko yung inventory ko? Pag necessary yan, part yan ng cost. Initial measurement. Pag hindi necessary, hindi yan part ng cost natin. Nakuha mo yun? Okay. Ngayon, ito yung mga common examples ng excluded na binayaran mo para makuha yung inventories pero hindi siya part ng cost natin. Ito yan. Meron kang wasted materials, labor, or other production costs. Ano ibig sabihin ng wasted material? Inefficiencies. Nasayang na. Hindi mo naman kailangan pero nagamit mo. Wasted materials. Dapat abnormal amount. Okay? Take note mo yung word abnormal amount. Sir, paano pag normal amount of wasted materials? Part ba yun ng cost? Yes, part yun ng cost. Bakit? Paano mo malalaman kung abnormal or normal amount, sir? Tingnan mo muna sa process natin. Let's say, for example, nagbenta ka ng inventory. Nagmamanufacture ka ng inventory. Okay? Sa isang production process, ang magagawa mong inventories is 100 ballpen. Out of 100 ballpen, 5 of those ballpens are defective. Okay? 5 doon, defective. Yung 95, yung kayang ibenta. Tingnan mo ngayon. Yung 5 na defective ba, normal ba yun? Okay? Parang sinabi na, nakasystem talaga sir sa machine ko na talagang yung 5 doon defective. Yung 95 lang yung pwede kong ibenta o normal amount yun. Wasted material, normal amount of wasted materials, ano yun? Part yun ng cost natin sa inventory. Okay? Ano naman example ng abnormal sir? O let's say for example, nagbenta ka ng ballpen, 95 yung kaya mong ibenta. Nasira yung 5. Bakit? Kasi nalaglag, nabasag. Anong tawag doon? Abnormal amount of wasted materials. Okay? Hindi naman kasi necessary. Kuha. Basta necessary yung cost natin, part yun ng inventory. Letter B na excluded. Those selling costs, advertising and promotion and delivery expense or freight out. Okay? Hindi yan kasama. Selling expenses na kasi yan. C, administrative overhead. Sir, overhead? Di ba meron ditong overhead dito? Yung overhead natin dyan, manufacturing overhead lang yan. Any administrative overhead are part of fixed cost na. Okay? Expenses na rin yan. Selling and administrative expenses. Letter D, storage cost. Okay? Si storage cost, ang general rule natin, okay? Expense yan. Hindi yan capitalizable sa inventories unless these are necessary in production process. Anong example ng necessary in production process? Anong inventory mo? Tingnan natin, anong inventory mo? Yellow, sir. Yung yellow, saan mo i-store? Sa ref. Necessary ba yun para hindi masira yung yellow? Yes, sir. Anong treatment natin sa storage cost? Part yun ng inventories. Meron kang ballpen. Yung ballpen tinago mo sa isang building. Bakit mo tinago sa isang building? Kasi sobrang dami kong manufacture. Necessary ba yan sa building para hindi masira? Hindi, sir. O ano mangyayari dun sa storage cost mo? Expense natin yun. Okay? Ito ngayon yung general rule natin. Kapag yung storage cost mo is for finished goods, always expense yan. Pag yung storage cost mo is for work in process, let's say for example, yung ballpen mo. Okay? Yung ballpen mo, ginawa mo yung ink pa lang. Hindi pa completed. Under work in process pa. Para hindi masira yung ink, kailangan mong i-store sa maayos na storage room. Ano mangyayari dun sa storage room mo? Storage cost mo yun of work in process inventory. It can be capitalized. It can be only, okay? Hindi always. Depende pa rin ulit kung necessary yung cost. Okay? So I think yun lang naman yung kailangan mong matandaan for inventories. Yun lang yung concept na kailangan nating balikan for inventories. Yung pinaka-importante sa atin dito is yung inventory ownership. So please be familiar with yourself. Tapos ito pala, nakalimutan ko, subsequent measurement. Inventories are subsequently measured at lower of cost and net realizable value. Iko-compare mo yung initial measurement mo na cost versus dun sa expected selling price mo na net realizable value. Whichever is lower, yun yung magiging subsequent measurement. Sir, paano pag mas mababa yung NRV? Magkakaroon tayo ng write-down. Okay, ito pa. Yung discounts, meron tayong accounting for discounts. Dalawa yung discount natin, trade discount and cash discount. Yung trade discounts, hindi mo na nire-recognize kasi dapat naka-net na tayo dyan. Ang problema ngayon for cash discount. Sa cash discount, dalawa yung method na ginagamit natin to journalize that. Meron tayong gross method and net method. Okay? Pero yung accounting natin dyan or yung journal entry natin dyan, nasa financial accounting na, hindi na natin yan i-dig into deeper under audit of inventories. So now, let's proceed sa pag-solve ng problems. So nag-prepare ako ng konting problems para mas maayos tayo sa audit of inventories. Okay, ganito lang yan. Si audit of inventories. Madali lang yan actually. Problem number 1 tayo. Okay? Sa problem number 1, sabi dyan, you are engaged in the audit of financial statements of Johnny Company for the year ended December 31, 2025 and have observed the physical inventory count on December 30, 2025. O take note mo magpe-prepare ka ng financial statement December 31. Kailan ka nag-inventory count? December 30. So merong 1 day of difference. Okay, yung nabilang mo up to December 30 lang. Okay? Next, all merchandise received up to and including December 30 has been included in the physical count which totaled 354,500. Take note mo, yung nabilang mo daw, 354,500. As a result of the count, the following cost of sales schedule has been prepared by the client's accountant. Ito lang muna tayo. Okay, statement of cost of sales. Meron daw beginning inventory ng 2025 of 235,000. Merong purchases of 254,900. Pag tinotal mo yan, makukompute mo yung total goods available for sale natin na 2,778,900. Tapos yung ending inventory daw na nabilang is 354,400. So ang expected cost of sales nila is 2,424,400. The following list of invoices is for purchases of merchandise. List of invoices for purchases and are entered in the purchase journal for the months of December and January 2026. Okay? Ito, na-i-record to ng January 2026. Ito, na-i-record to ng December 2025. Okay? So, tandaan mo itong invoices na to, na-i-record daw yan ng December 2025. Itong invoices sa baba, na-i-record daw ng January 2026. Punta natin yung requirements. Sabi pa, as of December 31, 2025, Johnny Company reported accounts payable balance of 547,200. Uy, accounts payable balance before any adjustment. The unadjusted net income for 2025 is 1 million pesos. Requirement, as a result of the reporting of the accountant, the purchase balances. Hinahanap din yung inventory balances, ending inventory. Hinahanap din yung cost of sale balances. Aba, parang dami. Dapat inventory lang Actually, related lahat yan. Wag kang matakot, madali lang ito. Okay? Ito lang yung kailangan mo munang alamin. Yung relationships between this. Okay? Hatiin ko yan Magkaiba yung sa taas. Magkaiba yung sa taas. So, ito, maraming nalilito dito. Actually, ako rin nalilito. Hindi ko alam yung directly related, inversely related. Sabi daw, kapag ka-overstated daw yung inventory beginning ko, it is directly related to the cost of goods sold or inversely related to the income or to the net income. Abay, malay ko ba dyan sa ginagawa? I-memorize ko ba yan? Hindi na. Okay, anong ginagawa ko? Para masagutan yung mga problems, necessary yung concept na yon. Ganito, ginagraph ko yan bago mag-take ng exam. Okay? Pinaplat ko muna yung pro forma ng inventory ng cost of goods sold natin. Tama yan yon. Inventory beginning plus purchases is equal to the cost of goods available for sale or yung tigas less inventory ending. Makukompute mo yung cost of goods sold. So ngayon, lagyan natin. I-assume natin yung inventory beginning mo is overstated. Kung overstated yung inventory beginning mo, anong effect sa cost of goods sold natin dyan? Red na lang. Kung overstated yung inventory beginning mo, anong magiging effect sa cost of goods sold natin dyan? Aba, overstated din yan. Kasi sobra yung in-add mo dito, sobra din yung ending balance mo dito. O tignan mo ngayon dito sa taas. Kung overstated yung cost of goods sold mo, sobra yung may minus mo, anong effect sa gross profit or net income natin? Understated. So, ganyan ko yan ina-analyze actually. Nilalagyan ko lang ng arrow-arrow. Okay, o tingnan natin, vice versa. If inventory beginning is understated, then malamang sa malamang cost of goods sold ko is understated. Ibig sabihin, understated yung pag-compute ko sa net income. Kung understated yung binawas ko, kulang yung binawas ko, aba, siyempre, sobra ngayon yung net income ko. O, ngayon, sa purchases, kung overstated yung purchases ko, sobra yung inad ko para makompute yung total goods available for sale. So, sobra yung cost of goods sold ko, overstated tayo dito. Kung overstated ngayon yung cost of goods sold ko, aba, malamang sa malamang yung net income ko understated. Bilisan natin ng konti. Vice versa tayo. Understated yung purchases, siyempre understated yung cost of goods sold ko. Kung understated yung cost of goods sold ko, then malamang sa malamang overstated yung net income natin. Oh, next, last na to. Ending inventory. Kung yung ending inventory ko, sobra. Okay, so overstated yung ending inventory ko, sobra yung binawas ko dito. Kung sobra yung binawas ko dito, anong magiging effect sa cost of goods sold natin? Siyempre, masyadong mababa. Kung mababa ngayon yung cost of goods sold mo, anong magiging effect sa gross profit natin? Sobra ngayon. Masyadong mataas. O, baliktarin natin pag understated yung ending inventory ko, overstated yung cost of goods sold ko. Kung overstated yung cost of goods sold ko, syempre understated yung net income natin. Okay? So, yan yung magiging guide natin mamaya dito sa pag-solve ng problems. Okay? Sige. So, dito, i-plot natin dito. Meron kang inventory. Tama. Inventory. Hinahanap din sa atin yung purchases. Hinahanap din sa atin yung accounts payable. Ano pa ba ang hinahanap sa atin dito? Hinahanap sa atin yung cost of sales. Hinahanap din sa atin yung net income. Okay. O, binigay yung mga beginning balances. Tama. O, plot mo dyan. Beginning balances ng inventory natin. Yung unang nabilang, 354,500 or unadjusted pala. Unadjusted na lang. Mas maganda unadjusted kaysa beginning. So, unadjusted inventory ko, 354,500. Unadjusted purchases ko, binigay yan dito. Ito pala. Net purchases unadjusted, ito yan, 2,543,900. Yung accounts payable ko, binigay ito, 547,200. Binigay din yung unadjusted net income ko, ito yan, 1 million pesos. Ang hahanapin natin is yung mga adjusted balances. Tingnan natin ngayon yung mga transactions. Okay, transaction number 105. Okay, sa receiving report number 105, yung amount daw natin dyan is 18,500. Ano daw yung freight terms? FOB shipping point. Ay, alam ko yan ah. Pag FOB shipping point, magiging kay buyer na yung inventory once na ship. Tingnan natin yung question. Ang question ngayon, tingnan natin, kailan na ship? December 20 na ship. Ay, kanino na may-ari ng, kanino na dapat yung inventory? Ay, kay buyer na. So, dapat hindi na kasama kay seller ito. Nakuha? O, hindi na dapat kasama kay seller. O, date of receipt of merchandise, December 30 rin. O, question. Sabi, yung purchases daw natin dito, ikaw pala yung bumili na ito ha, ikaw yung bumili dito. Yung purchases natin, in-entryhan na ng December 2025. Okay? Kung yung date of invoice is at December 20, tapos in-entryhan ng December 2025, tama ba na entryhan natin yan? Yes, tama yan. So sa purchases natin, it is properly included. Okay, properly included yan. So ignore natin yan. O, kailan ka ulit nagbilang ng inventory? December 30. Kailan mo na-receive yung inventory? December 30. I-analyze mo. Kung December 30 nagbilang, December 30 ko na-receive, yung 18,500 ba kasama sa 354,500? Yes, kasama yan. Nabilang yan. Question ngayon, dapat ba nabilang mo yan? Kanino ba yung inventory natin? Sa'yo na. Kasi ikaw yung bumili. Ikaw yung buyer. Sa'yo na yung inventory. Properly included to. Okay? Properly included tayo dito. Wala tayong gagawing adjustments for inventory and purchases. Okay? Isa pa. Try natin sa isa pa. 106. FOB destination. 7,800 yung cost. Pag FOB destination, tatanungin mo, kailan ko na-receive? Kailan mo ba na-receive? January 3. O, kailan mo ulit in-entryhan? Sabi, in-entryhan mo daw yan ng December 2025. Kailan mo ba dapat entryhan? Dapat January 3 pa. Kasi January 3 mo pa na-receive. Bakit mo in-entryhan ng December 31, 2025? So, anong nangyari dyan? Nag-entry ka dyan, nag-debit ka dyan ng inventory, nag-credit ka dyan ng accounts payable. Na dapat, hindi naman. So, alisin natin yan sa purchases natin. Tama. Alisin natin yan ng 7,800. Tapos sa accounts payable natin dito, 7,800. Nagets mo yon? Hindi mo nagets? Sige, tingnan natin ha. Entryhan natin para magets mo. Sabi sa receiving report number 106. Okay, receiving report number 106. Kailan mo daw inentryhan? Sabi sa problem ha, kailan mo inentryhan? December 2025. Yan. So, ng December 2025, nag-entry ka na. Kahit hindi mo pa na-receive, inentryhan mo na daw. Nag-entry ka na ng debit purchases, credit accounts payable. Magkano? 7,800 pesos. Okay? Kailan mo ba na-receive yung goods? January 3. Kailan mo, ano yung term natin? FOB destination. Kailan mapupunta sa'yo yung ownership dapat? By January 3 pa. Bakit mo in-entry ng December 2025? So, dapat, wala yan. So, to correct this entry, correcting entries natin, okay, to correct this entry, anong gagawin natin? Debit tayo ng accounts payable, 7,800. Tapos, credit tayo ng purchases, 7,800. Deduction, kaya nag-deduct ka dito. Okay, deduction yung debit, deduction yung credit na purchases, kaya nag-deduct tayo dito. Sa parang sinabi, sobra yung purchases na nirecord ko. Sobra yung accounts payable na nirecord ko. Bawasan natin ng 7,800. Nakuha mo yon? Nakuha mo? Very good ka dyan. Next. Kailan mo na-receive yung goods? Okay? January 3. Question, nabilang mo ba? Hindi, sir. Hindi ko nabilang kasi nagbilang ako December 30. Na-receive ko yung goods January 3. So, hindi yan kasama sa physical count na nabilang. Hindi yan kasama sa physical count na nabilang ko. Okay? Na 354,500. Question, dapat ba kasama siya? Kung hindi mo siya nabilang, dapat ba kasama siya? Hindi, sir. Kasi dapat ownership ko lang siya January 3. O hindi siya nabilang. So, itong inventory natin properly recorded. Isipin mo ha. Kailan ka ulit nagbilang? December 30, 2025. Kailan mo na-receive? January 3. I-analyze mo. Nabilang ko ba? Hindi. Hindi ko nabilang. Kasi wala pa siya. Hindi ko pa siya hawak. Wala pa siya sa storage room ko. Kailan ko ba dapat siya masasama sa inventory ko? Next year pa, sir. January 3 ko pa na-receive FOB destination ako tama lang itong inventory ko na hindi ko siya nabilang. Okay? Effect natin. Kung yung purchases natin is understated or overstated, tama? Overstated yung purchases mo, kaya mo binawasan. Punta ka ngayon dito. Purchases ko, overstated. Ibig sabihin, overstated yung cost of goods sold ko. Ibig sabihin, understated yung net income ko. Ano magiging effect sa net income? Understated. Kung understated yung net income mo, mag-a-add tayo ng net income dito. 7,800. Understated kulang. So, dagdagan natin. Okay? Receiving report number 107. Madali lang ito, okay? Na-overwhelm ka na naman kasi ang dami mo na namang ina-analyze. Hindi mo na naman maintindihan kasi first time mo mag-solve ng problem. Just be patient. Okay? Pwede mo namang ulit-ulitin yung problem natin. Pwede mo namang sagutan mag-isa yung problem after nating ma-discuss. Just be patient. Ganito talaga si audit problem. Okay? Huwag kang mawawalan ng pag-asa. Lagi lang focus ka sa pangarap. 107 tayo. FOB destination ulit. 5,000 yung amount. Kailan mo na-receive? December 29. Kung na-receive ko siya ng December 29, tapos FOB destination, part na siya dapat ng inventory ko. Tama? Dapat nag-recognize na ako ng debit purchase, credit accounts payable of 5,000 pesos. Question, na-entryhan mo ba? Yes, kasama siya sa December 2025 So, ibig sabihin, okay tayo dito. Okay? Kasi na-recognize mo na. Kailan mo? Na-entryhan mo na. Okay? Hindi pa pala. Guys, mali. Sorry. Purchases accounts payable mo, kailan mo na-receive? December 29. Kung na-receive mo ng December 29, nabilang mo na ng December 30, 2025. Dapat ba nabilang mo siya ng December 30, 2025? Yes, dapat nabilang mo siya. So, tama tayo sa inventories dito. Kaso ito, tingnan mo date of invoice. Kailan yung date of invoice natin? January 4. January 4 yung date of invoice natin. Kailan mo in-entryhan? December 2025. Dapat ba in-entryhan mo siya ng December 2025? Malito ka. Yes! Bakit? Kasi sa'yo na yung ownership. Kasi na-receive mo na ng December 29. So ito, properly included talaga yan. Okay, so kung wala tayong effect, wala tayong changes dyan, wala tayong changes dito, okay tayo dito. Ito, okay tayo dito. Next, receiving report number 108. Okay, sabi sa invoice report 108, 20,500 yung amount. FOB shipping point. Question na naman. Kailan na ship? December 2025. Kailan mo in-entryhan? December 2025. Ibig sabihin, kasama yan sa purchases tas accounts payable mo kasi in-entryhan mo na. Ay, okay. Goods tayo dyan. O, kailan mo na-receive? December 30. Naibilang mo ba? Yes, nabilang ko. Dapat ba nabilang mo? Yes, kasi sa akin yung inventory. Okay tayo dyan. Wala tayong problema dyan. O, next, 109. Receiving report 109. Sabi dyan, 24,200 FOB destination tayo. Okay? FOB destination, kailan mo na-receive? December 30. Ay, kung na-receive ko ng December 30, dapat in-entryhan ko yun ng December 2025. In-entryhan mo ba? Yes. Okay tayo dito. O, in-entryhan ko. Kailan ko na-receive? December 30. Nabilang ko ba? Yes, nabilang ko. Dapat ba nabilang ko? Yes, kasi sa akin yung ownership. Okay tayo dyan. Okay tayo dito. Wala tayong problema dyan. Puntahan natin ngayon yung next. Okay, sa January 2026. Meron kang receiving report 110 na in-entryhan mo daw ng January 2026. FOB destination tayo. FOB destination, tanungin mo ulit, kailan mo na-receive yung goods? December 31, sir? Ay, dapat in-entryhan ko yun ng December 2025. Hindi ko nga in-entryhan kasi in-entryhan ko ng January 2026. So, ibig sabihin, understated yung purchases natin. Parang sinabi na by December 31, 2025, no entry ka. Na dapat may entry ka. So, dapat mag-debit ka ng purchases, credit ka ng accounts payable, magkano yan? 4,000 pesos. Bakit? Kasi na-receive ko Na-receive ko ng December 31, tapos FOB destination, dapat sa akin na yung goods dyan. So, dapat magre-recognize ka ng 4,000 pesos dito. Okay? 4,000 pesos dito. Kasi understated yung purchases natin. Puntahan mo ngayon to. Understated yung purchases ko. Kung understated yung purchases ko, understated yung cost of goods sold ko. Kung understated yung cost of goods sold ko, overstated yung net income ko. Sobra daw yung 1 million ko dito, bawasan natin ng 4 million pesos yan. Okay? Alilito ka na naman dyan. Ito. Kailan mo na-receive yung goods? December 31. Sa'yo ba dapat yung goods? Yes, sa akin dapat yung goods. Nabilang mo ba? Nabilang mo ba? Kailan ka nagbilang? December 30. Kailan mo na-receive? December 31. Ay, hindi ko nabilang yan. Dapat ba nabilang mo yan? Yes, dapat nabilang ko yan. Dapat sa akin yan Sa akin kasi yan So, kulang yung inventory ko. Understated yung inventory ko. Magdagdag tayo ng 4,000 pesos dito. O, tignan mo ngayon. Kung yung ending inventory mo is understated, overstated yung cost of goods sold mo. Kung overstated yung cost of goods sold mo, understated yung net income mo. So, kulang na naman yung 1 million pesos mo dito ng 4 million pesos. So, mag-a-add ka ng additional 4,000 dito. So, parang sinasabi, no effect tayo dyan. Okay? Lilito ka. Tingnan mo lang ito. Dito ka lang mag-focus. Hindi mo kailangan i-memorize. I-plot mo lang yan. Ulitin ko, be patient. Next, practicein natin ulit. Invoice report number 111. Sabi, 9,700 yung amount, FOB destination tayo. Okay, FOB destination. Anong question mo ulit? Kailan ko na-receive? Kailan ko ba na-receive? December 30. Bakit ko in-entry ng January 2026? Dapat may entry ako dito. So, understated na naman yung purchases ko. Mag-a-add na naman ako ng 9,700 dito. Kung understated ulit yung purchases ko, anong effect dito? Magbabawas tayo sa net income natin. Bawasan natin ng 9,700. Paano na naman binawasan yan, sir? Tingnan mo purchases natin. Punta ka dito sa purchases. Purchases ko, understated. Understated yung cost of goods sold ko. Understated ngayon yung cost of goods sold ko. Kaya overstated yung net income ko. Kung overstated, sobra yung 1 million, magbawas tayo ng 9,700. Eto na naman. Kailan mo na-receive? December 30. Kailan ka nagbilang? December 30. Kasama ba yan sa 354,500? Yes, kasama yan. Dapat ba kasama yan? Yes, dapat kasama yan. So, no adjustment tayo dito. Okay? Next, receiving report 112. Sabi, FOB shipping point, 14,440. Tanongin mo naman, kailan na ship? Sabi na ship daw, January 2. Ay, dapat hindi kasama yan. Kailan mo in-entry yan? January 2026. Ay, okay lang. Hindi naman dapat kasama yan. Kailan mo na-receive? January 3. Nabilang mo ba ng December 30? Siyempre, hindi. Dapat ba nabilang mo? Hindi rin. So, okay tayo dyan. Wala tayong adjustment dyan. Next, 113. Okay? Sa 113 natin, 25,640 FOB shipping point. Kailan na ship? December 2023. Kailan mo in-entry yan? January 2026. Ay, dapat may entry tayo dito. So, understated yung purchases natin ng 25,640. So, mag-add tayo ng 25,640 dito. Okay? Kung nag-add tayo dito, ano na naman effect dito? Magbabawas tayo ngayon ng 25,640. O, kailan mo na-receive? January 3. Hindi mo na ibilang na naman yan na dapat nabilang mo. So, kulang na naman yung inventory mo ng 25,640. So, mag-a-adjust ka na naman dito ng additional 25,640. Zero effect na naman tayo dyan. Okay? Next, receiving report 114. Last na. FOB destination. Tanungin mo na naman kailan mo na-receive yung goods. Aba, January 3. Kailan mo in-entryhan? January 2026. Okay tayo dito. Okay, kailan mo na-receive ulit? January 3. Nabilang mo ba? Hindi. Dapat ba nabilang mo? Hindi. Okay tayo dito. Walang problema dyan. Hanapin natin ngayon yung mga adjusted balances. Okay, competent natin. Beginning balance ng inventory natin, 354,500. Ano yung mga naging adjustment natin? Wala naman. Dito. Plus 4,000 plus 25,640. This is equal to 384,140. O, purchases natin. Beginning balance ng purchases, 254,300. Plus, or nag-less ka ng 7,800 dito. Plus 4,000, plus 97, plus 25,640. This is equal to 2,575,440. Dito, sa accounts payable natin, 547,200 less 78 plus 4,000 plus 97 plus 25,640. This is equal to 578,740. Okay, 578,740. Next natin sa net income. O next net income natin, 1 million pesos plus 7,800 less 4,000 plus 4,000, zero effect. Ignore natin yon. Less 9,700 less 25,640 plus 25,640, zero effect. This is equal to 998,100. So, hanapin natin sa mga choices. Ano yung mga tinatanong natin dito? Requirement, as a result of recording of the accountant, the purchases, balances of the company before any adjustment is, punta mo yung purchases. O ano ba yung mga adjustment natin sa purchases? Meron kang adjustment of 4,000, adjustment of 97, adjustment of 25,640. Nag-add ka kasi understated. Tapos nag-deduct ka kasi overstated. So, less 7,800, 31,540 of understatement, letter C for question number 1. Question number 2. Sabi daw, inventory daw. Ano daw yung mga adjustment sa inventory? O, compute mo yung inventory natin dito. 4,000 plus 25,640 understated siya ng 29,640, letter C. Number 3. As a result of the recording of the accountant, the cost of sale balances of the company before any adjustment is... Balikan muna natin yan. Asterisk tayo dyan. Number 4, what is the audited purchases balances to be reported by Johnny for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2025? Audited daw ng purchases. Yung ending balance ng purchases natin, 2,575,440. Letter D tayo dyan. Number 5, what is the audited ending inventory balances? Ito yan, 384,110, 384,140, 384,140, letter B. Number 6, what is the audited cost of sales balances to be reported by Johnny for the fiscal year? Lagpasan muna natin yan kasi cost of sales, wala yan sa table natin. 7, what is the audited balance of accounts payable? O punta ka dito sa accounts payable. 578,740, 578,740, letter C. Number 8, what is the audited net income to be reported by Johnny? Audited net income, 998,100. This is 998,100, letter B. O, diba? Madali lang talaga to. O, punta natin yung mga asterisk. Sabi dyan, paano ko ngayon mahahanap yung cost of sales, sir? Ano ba naman yan? O, puntahan mo lang yung formula natin. Ano ba yung formula natin? Tama, beginning inventory plus purchases less or equal, this is equal to total goods available for sale less ending inventory. This is equal to cost of goods sold. Magkano ba yung beginning inventory mo? Ito yan, oh, given, oh, 235,000. Sir, gagamitin ko na ba yan? Yes, wala ka namang adjustment na ginawa dyan, eh. So, ito na yan, 235,000. Sir, magkano ngayon yung purchases ko? Yung unadjusted ba or adjusted balance? Ano ba tinatanong dito? Tama, audited cost of balance, cost of sales, adjusted cost of sales. So, gamitin mo yung adjusted purchases mo na 2,575,440. So, plus 2,575,440. This is equal to, so, 235,000 plus 2,575,440. This is equal to 2,810,440. Ending inventory mo. Magkano ba yung ending balance ng ending inventory mo? Ito yan, tama. 384,140. So, less ka ng 384,140 dito. Or, tama, 140 dyan. So, 2,810,440 less 384,140. This is equal to 2,426,300. Yan yung audited balance of cost of goods sold natin. Number 6 letter C tayo dyan. Easy. Tama? Basic tayo dyan. O, number 3. Magkano yung understatement? I-compare mo lang. 2,426,300 yung adjusted. Magkano yung unadjusted natin? Ito yan, no? 2,424,400 less 2,424,400. This is equal to 1,900. 1,900 of understatement. Letter A, number 3. Okay? So, yan muna tayo. So, for audit of inventories. Okay? Guys, uulitin ko, para sa pangarap, hindi mo dapat susukuan ito. Okay? Yes, medyo complicated. Yes, medyo nahihirapan ka. Yes, siguro hindi mo na naiintindihan kasi ang haba ng problem. Malamang sa malamang tatamadin ka dyan magsagot ng questions, magbasa ng questions, ang haba ng problem. Multiple choice, huhulaan mo na lang yan. Letter C for Christ, letter A for accounting. Pipili ka na lang dyan. Huwag ganun, guys. Okay? Ulitin ko, pwede mong balik-balikan yung video. Huwag mong susukuan yung pangarap mo. Just be patient. Just be patient. Kumalma ka, hinga ng malalim. Pag naiirita ka na, ako din naman, minsan naiirita na. Pag hindi ko masagutan yung problem, pag hindi ko maintindihan yung concept, pag naiirita ka na, pahinga ka lang ng konti. Balikan mo mamaya, after an hour, after 30 minutes, balikan mo ulit kapag kalmado na yung isip mo. Just be patient. Okay? Yun lang muna, guys. Good luck, God bless. Huwag sasukuan ng pangarap. Aral mabuti. Ciao.